Hello students, welcome to Umadevi Children Academy. Students, today we are discussing one of the important topic, that is properties of colloids. Based on the properties of colloids, the many question will be asked in the examination. Right, students, that's why this is one of the most important topics, students. So students, before going to topics, I want to tell you the all the students, please make your registrations before 15th of August. Right, students? So let's start. The topic is the properties of colloid. So what are the properties of colloids? Colligative property, Tyndall effect, color, Brownian moment, electrophoresis, and coagulation or precipitation. These all are the seven properties. The seven properties, these are the colligative properties. Right, students? So first one is the colligative property. So colligative property means the property which depend upon number of solid particle. That is called as a colligative property. What are the colligative property? Boiling point, freezing point, osmosis, relative working vapor pressure. These all are colligative property. So this colligative property we are already discussed in the solution chapter, right? So colligative property we are discussed in terms of solution but here we are discussing the colligative property in terms of colloidal solutions. Right, students? So the colloidal particle being bigger aggregate, it means the whatever the particles are there, the different particles, this all the particles are aggregate with each other. Aggregation means they are combined with one another's to make one of the big large colloidal particles like this. Right, students? So this is the colloidal particle. Here the small particles, they are aggregated with each other to form one of the big colloidal particles. So in this case, students, what happened? The number of particle colloidal solution comparatively small as compared to true solution. So whatever the colloidal particles are there, the colloidal particles are very less amount as compared to the number of true solution particles. For example, look at here, I am giving the two figures. This is the true solution and this is the colloidal solution. Right, friends? So here the whatever the blue color dots are mentioned, the blue color dots all are the true solutions, like NaCl in water or sugar particle in water, right? So here in this solution, what are the pink color dots are there? The pink color dots are the colloidal particles, right? So look, you may count the how many colloidal particles are there, students? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here 9 colloidal particles are present. 9. But when you compare here there is a more number of particles are present here. More number of colloidal particles are present. So true solution contain more number of particles. So more number of particles are present in the true solution as compared to colloidal solution, right? So look at here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here 10 particles are present, and here the more number of particles are present. More number of particles. So in true solution which having the more number of particle as compared to the colloidal particles, so that's why the true solution which having the which having the high relative lowering vapor pressure, high elevation of boiling point, high depression of freezing point, and fourth one is the osmosis. right? The true solution which have a high relative lowering vapor pressure, high elevation of boiling point, high the depression of freezing point, and osmosis, right? So the colligative property of true solution is greater than colloidal solution, right students? Hence the value of the colligative property like lowering vapor pressure, depression, freezing point, the elevation of boiling point, or the colligative properties are small as compared to the true solution, right students? Next is the Tyndall effects. Tyndall effect, the phenomena of scattering of light by the colloidal particles as a result which the path of beam becomes visible called as Tyndall effect. So here students, the what is the meaning here? It means the colloidal particles are visible. Colloidal particles are visible only in presence of the beam of light. Only in presence of beam of light are passed over the colloidal particles, right? So for example, look at here in this figure, I am using here the two solution. The first one is the true solution, second one is the colloidal solution. When we pass the beam of light, the torch light can be passed over this one. The true solution, we can't able to observe the colligative property, but in the second solution, the second in which we are having the colligative properties, like here we having the colligative property. So these colligative property can be visible in presence of light only. These colligative properties are visible in presence of the light, So scattering, it means when the ray of light can be struck or collide with the colligative particles, then the in presence of the light colloidal particles are visible, called as a Tyndall effect, right students? So if homogeneous solutions are placed in a dark observed the direction of the light, it appears clear. Homogeneous solution in which we pass the beam of light, it becomes clear, right? There is no appearance of colloidal particles. The same light we can pass on the solution which contain the colloidal particles, then the colloidal particles are visible in presence of light, right? So if it observed from the direction of the right angle direction of the light beam, it appears the perfectly dark colored. So that dark colors are visible in presence of the light. So that dark color because of the colloidal particles, right students? So colloidal solutions are viewed in the same way may also appears reasonably clear or translucent means pass through by the transmitted light, but they show the mild strong opalescence means changing color or visible when it viewed at the right angle passage of the light. The path of beam emitted bluish light. Colloidal particles are visible in presence of the when light can be passed through the colloidal solution. Light can be passed through the colloidal solution in presence of this path of light. Colloidal particles are visible on this path only. Right? On this path only the colloidal particles are visible. Right? Look at here. I will show you here. Torch. The colloidal particles are here in this solution. The colloidal solution in which we have passed the beam of light. In presence of the beam of light, the colloidal particles are visible here. Right? Colloidal particles are visible. Understand? So this effect was observed by the Faraday, later studied detail by the Tyndall. That is why it is called as a Tyndall effect. It is earlier studied by the Faraday, but it was investigated by the Tyndall. So it is called Tyndall effect. Right, students? So bright cone of the light called as a Tyndall cone. So when the beam of light which are passing over the solution, so this solution we called as a the path of light we called as a Tyndall cone, because in the Tyndall cone, in presence of the Tyndall cone only, the colloidal particles are visible. So Tyndall effect, due to the fact the colloidal particles are scattered the light in all direction in space. The scattering light illuminate path beam of the colloidal dispersion. So what are the scattering of the light is there? When the ray of light can be struck on the colloidal solution, the colloidal particles are visible in presence of the light only. Right, students? So when you observe here, the person here observing with the help of the powerful microscope, we have to observe the colloidal particles. Application of Tyndall effect. So Tyndall effects are observed the projection in picture cinema hall. When you going to watch the cinema hall, in the cinema hall the light, a small window from which the light will be coming and fall down on this cotton. Then what happened? In the ray of light, the many dust particles are appears. Many dust particles are visible. So why these dust particles are visible? These dust particles are the colloids. So in these colloids we cannot be visible to our naked eyes, but these colloid particles are visible in presence of this light. This is one of the applications. So scattering, because of the dust, the scattering of the light by the dust smoke particle present there. If cinema hall contains dust smoke, then definitely the colloidal particles are visible in presence of the light. So one more application, it is used the distinguish the true solution and colloidal solution. Okay. So what are Tyndall effects are there? The Tyndall effect is most useful to distinguish the true solution and the colloidal solution. Similarly, now you find this image. In this image, the light are passed over the true solution. There is no scattering. There is no visible of any colloidal particles. The same light you may passed over the colloidal particle. Then the colloidal particles are visible in this scattered light. Right, students? So it is help to distinguish the true solution and colloidal solution. So the Tyndall effect, with the help of Tyndall effect, we know that the white sky is blue color. Right? When the sun rays are there, the sun rays are scattering with the many dust, cloud and many gases. So that's why it look like the blue colors, because of the Tyndall effect. And seawater is blue because of the Tyndall effect. The seawater contains the many number of colloidal particles. So that colloidal particles are scattered by the light. Then it look like a blue color. So these are the application of Tyndall effect, students. Condition of Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect observed only the following two conditions. The diameter of the dispersed phase not much smaller than the wavelength of the light. What are the colloidal particles are there? The colloidal particle, the colloidal particle size not much be smaller than the wavelength of the light. Right? Not much be smaller than the wavelength of the light. If the colloidal particle size smaller than wavelength of the light, we can't able to we can't able to find the colloidal particles in the presence of light. So that's why the dispersed particle must be not much smaller than wavelength. Refractive indices of the dispersed phase dispersion medium differ greatly magnitude. So dispersed phase dispersion medium refractive indices not much different, differ greatly magnitude. The high magnitude is high size is different here. The size is different. The dispersed phase size, the phase particle size and dispersion medium size particles are different here. That's why the refractive indices are different here. Tyndall effect used to distinguish the colloidal and true solution already we discussed here. So Tyndall effect set up by the apparatus known as a ultra microscope. Ultra microscope, with the help of ultra microscope we have to find the colloidal particles. So intense beam of light focuses on the colloidal solution contain the glass vessel. The focus lights listen the microscope right angle triangle. Individual colloidal particles appears the bright star against the dark background. The microscope does not render the actual colloidal particles visible but observe the scattered them. Thus, ultramicroscope does not provide the information about the size and shape of the colloidal particles. This is the important point. Already this thing we have discussed. So this is the important point. Ultramicroscope, it does not provide the information about the size and shape of the colloidal particles. It's just helpful for the to distinguish the true solution as well as the colloidal solution in presence of light. Right, students? Next, color. So the colloidal particles have a definite color, students, here. So colloidal solution depend upon the color of colloidal solution depend upon the wavelength of light scattered by the dispersed particle. So wavelength of the light, when the wavelength of light, when the wavelength of light is there, the battery light, it depend upon the wavelength of the light as well as the size of the particle. If size of the particle 1 to 1000 nanometer, then only it is visible. If it is less than 1 nanometer, it is cannot be visible to our eyes, right? If greater than 1000 nanometer, then there is no need to battery or ultra microscope, it is visible to our naked eyes, right? So the wavelength of the light, the color, it depend upon the wavelength of light as well as the size and nature of particle. So these two are the most important point. Colloidal particles are visible with the help of light and the help of the size of the particles. So that's why the colloidal particles appears color. So color of the colloidal solution also changes with a manner with observer receiver light. For example, a mixture of milk and water appears blue when viewed by the reflected light and red when it viewed by the transmitted light. So this is the important point, students. When mixture of the milk and water, their color is different in presence of reflected light or in presence of transmitted light. Right, students? So why it happened? Look at it. I will show you one example here. When we are passing the sunlight pass over this solution. This is a chlorophyll solution. So chlorophyll solution which contain the colloidal particle. So colloidal particles are visible here. So this person. So colloidal particles are incident on this test tube. Then after that it transmitted to forward direction. So it transmitted to forward direction. So the color of the colloidal particles are visible green, right? So transmitted light visible as a green. When the light is reflected when the light is reflected, it is visible as a red. It is visible as red, students. So why this happens, students? Because when the 100% of light is passing over here, incident on this here, so here the 80% of light is transmitted and remaining 20% is reflected, right? So 80% transmitted, so transmitted light is 80%, so it contains the whatever the wavelengths are there, due to the presence of wavelength it look like green, right? And the whatever the here the emitted lights are there, the emitted light, the wavelengths are look like a red. That's students. So similarly, the finest gold soul red color, the size of the particle increases, it appears as a purple, then it becomes finally blue, then blue, and finally golden. Gold sol, the AU, the gold sol, the gold sols, the particle size increases, it appears as purple, then it blue, often gold, finally gold. That's students. Next is the Brownian moment. When colloidal solutions are viewed under the powerful ultra microscope, the colloidal particle appears to be in a state of continuous zigzag motion all over the field of view. So colloidal particles, when we see the colloidal particles, a glass of water in which when we see the colloidal particles, the colloidal particles are that cannot be settled down or cannot be float on the surface, rather than they are the moving in zigzag manner in this glass of water. So why this happened? So first, this method, this thing observed by the Robert Brown. So Robert Brown, what he did, he using the chlorophyll, he cut it into the small pieces for observing the observing into the microscope, right? So the chlorophyll, he make it the fine pieces, that fine pieces he washed in the beaker, and he take out all the chlorophyll pieces from this water, right? So after some time he observed all the chlorophyll particles are taken out from this glass. Then even though some chlorophyll particles are the moving like this, zigzag motions are moving, and he confused the why this happened here, why happened like this, zigzag motion particles are the present here, rather than they are settled down or float on the water, surface of water. They are settling in this water, they are not settling in this water. So finally come to the conclusion, the motion of independent nature of the colloidal particle depend upon the size of the particle and viscosity of the solution, right? So why the colloidal particles are showing the zigzag motion? Because of the size of particle and viscosity of solution, right? The smaller the size, lesser viscosity, faster motion. If the colloidal particles are very small, then the viscosity, the liquid viscosity is less, then the colloidal particles are make fast motion, right? If the colloidal particles are size is large, viscosity is high, then slow motion, they will make slow motion. That's students. So cause of Brownian moment, this is an important point. So Brownian moment, the Robert Brown explained the why this happened, because the unbalanced bombardment of the particle by the molecule of the dispersion medium. Molecule of the dispersion mediums are constantly colliding with the colloids. So what are the liquids are there? The liquid in which this is the liquid water, the liquid water in which whatever the colloidal particles are present. So water layers are, when this colloidal particles they want to settle down, the water layers are collide with the water layers. When it collided with the water layer, it displaced this position and moving to the some other position, upper layer, upper upside. Then upside layer also making the collide with this particle, then again it move downward. Again this layers also it make collide, then it move downward, or that's why it move like a zigzag motions. So when the dispersion mediums are collide, it means it struck on the collides, the collide particle displaced one direction, then another molecule strike it, it displaces another direction, and so on progress. So it is the zigzag movement will be occurs. Right students, glass of water in which the water layers are present here. So collided particles are first struck here. After striking here, after colliding this layer, it move to the upward. After colliding this layer, again it move to the downwards. Right. After colliding this, it move to the again upward. So like this happened. So it is called zigzag movement. So Robert Brown has the stirring the effect does not permit the particle settlers responsible for stability of the sol. So Robert Brown has the stirring effect, which does not permit the particle settle. It is while the particles are making the zigzag motion, in that case the particles cannot be settled down, right? So is responsible for the stability of solid. So why this happened? Because of the stability of the solid particle. The colloidal particles, they want to stabilize by settling at the bottom, but the layers are colliding with this particle, so it cannot be settled. Charge of colloidal particle. The colloidal particle always carry electric charge. The nature of charge is the same on all the particles in a given colloidal solution, may be either positive or negative. Right students, so the colloidal particles have a definite charge, students, definitely produce the positive or negative charges. These are the examples I mentioned here. So some example of alumina, the positive charges, metal like copper, silvers, they develop the negative charge. How they develop negative charge? I will give one example here. When silver nitrate solution added to dispersion medium of potassium iodide solution, precipitated silver iodide forms, and the silver iodide absorb the iodide from the dispersion medium and develop negative charge. Look at it, students. Example, silver nitrate react with it is a dispersion medium, disperse phase dP. Potassium iodide dispersion medium Ki forms precipitated silver iodide and potassium nitride. Right students, so why this happened here? The dispersion medium always high amount, disperse phase is a low amount. Right students, so we are using here 5 moles. 5 mole of AgNO3 added to 100 mole of potassium iodide. Then what happens, students? The 5 moles of Ag attract with the 5 moles of iodine out of 100. So forms 5 moles of AgI. Right? And 5 moles of NO3 attract the 5 moles of potassium to form 5 moles of potassium nitrate. Right students? So remaining 95 moles of potassiums are left here, 95 moles of iodine also left. Out of 100, only the 5 moles of potassium, 5 moles of iodines are removed from the solution. They departed from the solution and forms AgI KNO3. Remaining 95 moles of potassium iodides are remains same. So this AgI. So this AgI here, there here. So look at here. So AgNO3 attract the potassium iodide to form AgI, right students, AgI, and 95 potassium left and 95 iodines are left here, and 5 moles of left here, right students. So in this case what happens students, so silver, this is the colloidal particle, so this is the colloidal particle. So the colloidal particles are very small, they will attract the similar species, they will attract the common species. So which one is common between the AgI, K plus and I minus? Which one is common students? I minus is common, because here also I, here also I. So AgI in which I, and here also I. So they attract the iodines, they attract the iodine. Iodine charge is negative, so that's why the here the AgI in which AgI is there, the AgI which attract the common species, the common is here iodine and here also iodine, the solution in which high number of iodide ions are present, so it attract the common ions, then the AgI around in which the iodine is surrounded here, and iodine is negative charge, so it is the negative charged soul is formed here, negatively charged, right students, negatively charged it is. So this is also written as a this form, AgI bar I minus, that is negatively charged colloidal particles are produced here. Understood students? Okay. Next is, if I reverse, here I am using the AgNO3 5 moles, Ki high moles, dispersed phase. But if we reverse the reaction, then what happens students? Look at here. So in this case, if I am using 5 moles of Ki and 100 moles of AgNO3, then what happens students? The 5 moles of potassium iodide are react with the 5 moles of AgNO3 out of 100, then it forms the precipitated AgI and the potassium nitrate will be formed here, right students. This is also 5 moles and this one also 5 moles, and in the solution the 5 moles of precipitated, 5 mole is precipitated here, 5 mole is precipitated, 5 mole of AgNO3 precipitated, 5 moles Ag precipitated, AgI, and the remaining solution, the 95 moles of Ag left and 95 NO3 is left. So tell me students, so in this precipitated, this Ag attract to which species, Ag or NO3? This precipitate attract to common species, AgI, NO3, Ag, in which one is common? Here Ag and here Ag is common, so that's why this Ag attract this Ag plus around in it. So Ag attract the Ag here common, here Ag plus is common in the solution, so it attract the Ag to form the Ag around in which develop the Ag plus develop here, right? So like this Ag plus, right students, understood? Ag plus is form here, the Ag plus is form, so Ag plus is form here, the Ag is plus positive charge, so AgI bar Ag plus, that is positively charged, right students, understood? So what is this? We will discuss in the next slide, students. Just wait. So I will explain this one also. I hope you understood. This is the formation of positive charge colloid, and this is the formation of negatively charged colloid. Right, students? So charge on the sole particle is due to one or more reason. Why charge develop? Due to the electron captured by the particle during the electrode dispersion of metal, due to the preferential adsorption of ion from the solution, or due to the electrical double layer. So the why these charges are developed? The charges are developed because of the any precipitated particle which attract the common species, here. Right, students? So that's why I develop the charges. So preferential adsorption of ion, most accepted reason, preferential adsorption. So here the given the reason in which the preferential adsorption means, here I am using the Ki small amount and AgNO3 high amount, and forms the AgI here. Remaining Ag ions are the moving randomly in the solutions. Then what happen? This AgI attract this all the common species, common AgI attract, it never attract the NO3, because in this precipitate Ag is present, it attract the Ag only, common ion. So that is preferential adsorption, accepted reason. So the sole particle acquire the positive or negative charge is preferential adsorption. Preferential adsorption means the common ion it will attract. So two or more ions are present in the dispersion medium. The preferential adsorption of ion is common for the colloidal particle take place. Right, students? Okay, look at here. The next after that, what happened in the solution? So combination of the two layer oppositely charged around the colloidal particle called Helmholtz electrical double layer. When in the solution, the positively charged colloid will form here. Positively charged colloid is formed as a Ag plus positive charged colloid is formed. So positive charge is unstable here because it is charged unstable. So it will attract the iodide molecules. It will attract the next, around in which it attract the next iodide molecules. It will attract like this, students. This is precipitate. It preferentially attract the positive charge Ag plus attract. So Ag plus is unstable. Neutralizing purpose, the iodine also attract here. Stabilizing purpose, iodide ion attract this each positive silver ion. So students, so whatever the layers are there here, so these layers are considered the two layers are forms here. So in the first layer ions, the firmly held termed as a fixed layer. So whatever the positive charge layer is present or first layer is present, this is first layer. So first layer is constant and it is fixed and it is permanent. So it is called fixed layer, right? So the fixed layer around in which the one more charge is present, I minus. So this is the second layer, second ion charge. The second ion charge is called as a diffuse layer because it is a temporary layer. It is temporary layer, so it is called diffuse layer. It will disappear after some time. The separation of the charges set the potential charge opposite sign. The fixed diffuse part double layer result the preferential potential between this layer. So this is we called as the fixed layer because it is fixed. It cannot be removed That is called fixed layer. And the whatever the iodides are attract over the silver ion. So this iodide layer we called as a diffuse layer because it is the temporary layer. It is temporary. And the fixed layer, why it is called fixed layer? Because it is the permanent layer. Right, students? So the potential difference between the fixed layer and the diffuse layer called as a electromatic potential or zeta potentials. Right. So the difference in charge between the fixed layer and the diffuse layer called as a electrokinetic potential or zeta potential. So presence of equal similar changes, the colloidal particle largely responsible for providing the stability of colloidal solution because of repulsive force and the between the charged particle having the same prevent the coalescing or aggregating when they are close to one another. So what are the colloidal particles are present? The AgI around the Ag plus, I will just mention the positive charge. The one more AgI around the Ag plus. So this particle cannot be precipitated here because the positive charge are the repulsive with each other. So that's why it is the cannot maintain the stability. It cannot be precipitated. So next is the electrophoresis. Existence of charge on colloidal particle called as it is conducted by the electrophoresis experiment. So when electric potential is applied across the platinum, what are the positive charge colloid and negative charge colloid forms of students? So in the solution, if the positive charge colloid is present, and negative charge colloid, right, the solution in which the colloidal particles are separated here. Colloidal particles are separated based on the charges. If solution which contain the positive charge colloid or negative charge colloids, so in which the electric potential is applied across the platinum electrode dipping the colloidal solution, colloidal particles are moved towards the other electrodes. The movement of the colloidal particle under the electric field called as electrophoresis. So colloidal particle, if we are using here the negatively charged colloid, they are moved towards attract in this metal plate towards cathode. If we are using the positive charge colloid, then they are attract toward the anodes. Right, friends? So in this method we have to separate the colloidal particles from the solutions. Sorry, positive charge or negative charge colloidal solution from the solutions. Right? So positive charge colloidal particle move towards the cathode and negative charge move towards the anodes. Already we have discussed all these things, friends. Right? So this phenomenon we call as the electrophoresis or electroosmosis. So next is a coagulation or precipitation. Stability of the lithophobic sol is due to presence of charged colloidal particle. If somehow charge is removed, the particle will be near to each other, form aggregate and settle down under the force of gravity. The process of settling the colloidal particle called as a coagulation or precipitation. What are the colloidal particles are present, students, in the solution? Colloidal particle. So colloidal particles are in the solution, they never be settled down. If we add the suitable reagent or suitable electrolyte in this solution, then all the colloidal particles are settled down to precipitated and settled down. So this process we called as a precipitation or coagulations. The process of settling of colloidal particle called as precipitation or coagulations. Right, students? So coagulation of the lithophobic sol carried out by the following way. How to carry out the the coagulations. The first method is by electrophoresis. Colloidal particles are moved towards oppositely charged electrode and get discharged and precipitated. This is the one method. The electrophoresis method, we are using the U-shaped tube. In this U-shaped tube, we have to put the two electrodes and connected with the battery, the the negative charge terminal and the positive charge terminal. So if you are using the positive charge colloidal solution, then all are attracted to cathode. If you are using the negative charge colloidal particle, they are attracted to anodes. In this method, we have to precipitate the colloidal particles, or by mixing the oppositely charged sole. Oppositely charged means we are adding some. So the colloidal particles, the oppositely charged sole, when mixed with the almost equal proportion, neutralize the charge particle. If we are using the positive charge colloidal particle, in which neutralizing purpose we are adding some electrolyte AB, then the colloidal particles are get precipitated here. For example, A is the positive charge, B is the negative charge. So B negative charge attract to this positive charge colloid and they get precipitated here. This is the precipitation. Right. So in this method, we have to we have to make precipitate the colloidal particles. Right, students? Understood? This method we also call it the coagulation. One more method, boiling. When sole is boiled, the adsorbed layer is disturbed due to the increased collision with molecular dispersion medium. This reduced by charged particle ultimately leads to be settling down in the form of precipitate. When we boil the colloidal solution, the adsorbed layer disturbed due to the increased collision with the molecule of dispersion medium. So next is the boiling method, students. So here in this, what happens, students? So when the colloidal particles are present in the solution, if you try to heat the solution, then what happens? The dispersion medium particles are get dissociated. For example, I am adding here the iron, the colloidal particle iron in water. So what happens? The water particles get dissociated to form H plus OH minus. So this Fe attract the OH and get precipitated as a FeOH thrice, and the colloidal particles are get separated here. Right, students? So one more is the dialysis study we discussed, students. So we are using the parchment membrane. In this parchment membrane, we are the parchment membrane contain the many pores. So here we are using the colloidal solutions. One end we are passing the water. So the waters are entered into the solution. All the crystalloid particles are came out with the water. The colloidal particles are remains in this parchment membrane and they get precipitated. So that is the one method to coagulate the colloidal particles. Fifth method, addition of electrolyte. Already we have discussed here. The colloidal particle which contain the colloidal particle AB is there. AB colloidal particle which contain the negative charge, in which we are adding the XY. X is a positive, Y is the negative. Then what happens, students? This AB minus attract to the X. AB minus attract the X, and that it becomes stable and settle down and precipitated. Right, students? So this causes neutralization leading to the coagulation. The ions are responsible for the neutralization charge called as coagulation ions. So which ions is responsible for the precipitation? So that is we call the coagulation ions. For example, I had already told you the Ab plus, the negative charge colloid. This is stabilization purpose we are using the X ion. X is the positive charge, Y is the minus charge. So this positive X ion we call as a coagulate ion. With the help of this ion we precipitate colloidal particles. It has been observed generally the valency of the flocculating ion. So what is flocculation, students? I will tell you. So here, students, the addition of electrolytes. The addition of electrolyte to the species already told you AB, in which if we add the X and Y, so AB is the negative charge, X positive, Y negative. Then what we have to do? The X attract the AB negative charge. This negative charge attract by the X plus. Right, students? So this is the method to precipitate the colloidal particles. So X act as a X, which is with the help of X plus ion, the colloidal particles are settled or precipitated. That is why it is called as a coagulating ions. Right, students? So next, it has been observed there the greater valency of flocculating ions. So flocculation, number of ions required for precipitation called as flocculations. Number of ions are required for the precipitation called as a flocculations. So flocculations are the Haddy shoes explain the very good method for the flocculations. So here the AL, so he explained that the number of higher charge ion, the precipitate will be more, right? Precipitate will be more. So higher charge, the precipitation will be more, students. Here that explained by the Haddy shoes. The Haddy shoes explain that for the precipitating the AB minus negative charge soul. So the precipitating purpose, if you add the sodium ion, then PPT slow. If you add the bromide ion, the PPT PPT moderate, medium. If you add the Al plus, the PPT fast, right? So here means if in this solution AB, the first case I am adding the Al plus 3, second case I am adding the Ba plus 2, third case I am adding the Na plus. So Na plus charge 1, Ba plus 2 charge 2, Al plus 3. So we are adding the same quantity of solution. I am adding these 3 ions. So here the PPT is fast, here PPT is fast, here PPT is slow. This is the reason. So the Haddy shoes explain that the high number of charge ion, the coagulation or precipitation is more faster rate, right? The high number of charge ion, the coagulation is more faster, right? Similarly, the high number of charge ion, negative charge ion, the coagulation will be more faster. For example, I am using here AgI plus positive charge. So if you add the Cl minus, then PPT occurs very slow manner. If you add the FeCN6 minus 4, the PPT is fast. Right, friends? Understood? So minimum concentration of the electrolyte in a moles per liter. So minimum number of electrolytes are required. The minimum number of electrolytes are required in a per liter of the solution called as coagulation value. Right, students? Coagulation value. Smaller quantity need, higher will be coagulation. So the charge is high, it requires the less quantity, and coagulation will be faster rate. Right, students? I hope you understood, students, your topics. Thank you so much.